Are we heading into a recession this year? What is happening here in terms of world politics right now, really? Recession or altcoin season? We'll clarify that in this video. And I promise you, this video offers huge value. So go ahead and leave a like and a comment. First, we need to clarify some important things. What does the whole situation look like in terms of recession? We have Elon Musk, who is trying to save a lot of money with his company. It's no wonder, since the USA now has debts amounting to $36 trillion, and it's increasing every day. Of course, it's nice to see someone like Elon Musk, who is now trying to save $3 billion every day. $3 billion is indeed a really damn high number. And you can already see here, this is partially being achieved. Here millions, here hundreds of millions, 90 million, and so on. These are all here things where money is already being saved by the US government today. A damn lot of money is being saved here every day. At first glance, that sounds nice, but fundamentally, it also creates a bit of uncertainty. As a result, we see a lot of unemployed people in the USA. Very, very many unemployed people who are now losing their jobs thanks to Elon Musk because they were simply completely redundant. This creates a certain uncertainty. We see Donald Trump imposing certain tariffs against Canada, China, and partially against the EU, partly on steel and aluminum. This creates huge uncertainty. This is a huge problem. As a result, the markets are very, very anxious. And because we have been seeing this all the time, the chance of a recession in 2025 is now increasing. And that is, of course, very, very dangerous. Because in a recession, we have stagnation in the economy. And in the past, this has always triggered a significantly larger crash. And when you look at the numbers, you can simply see that the biggest problem is partly really this cost cutting by the organization that Elon Musk has now established here. Due to these savings, we have so much capital here that is also partly missing in the economy. This, combined with the tariffs with Donald Trump, creates here huge uncertainty. And now, of course, the question is, how is all of this supposed to continue? The conclusion is quite clear. Everything that is happening here has been intentional so far. Donald Trump himself publicly announced, we will have to endure short-term pain so that we stand better in the long term. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious. Does this mean that we won't see a recession? No, it doesn't have to mean that, but I think Donald Trump's advisors are competent enough and are simply trying to negotiate better with other countries. And what people here forget is that due to the high debt of the USA, there is a timeline this year where they have to take on new debt, but they don't want to do that at this interest rate. However, through this uncertainty in the markets, they are now managing to lower the yield on government bonds, to lower the interest on government bonds. And as a result, it becomes cheaper for the USA to take on these loans, which is much, much better for the USA in the long run. This is exactly what Elon Musk's plan is. We just have to speculate that we won't see a recession and that this will end in a few months. But if you watched the last FOMC meeting, then you also know that we will see 2 more interest rate cuts this year, which actually doesn't indicate a recession. Nevertheless, we are slowly seeing an expansion of money in the markets. And in this regard, you have probably often been shown the M2 money supply. The M2 money supply has increased rapidly. This is very positive, and we are also following the M2 money supply with Bitcoin, and especially, of course, with Bitcoin. What needs to be distinguished here is that this M2 money supply usually translates into this global liquidity. However, the M2 money supply has now mainly increased due to the Eurozone and China. The most important money supply still depends on the USA. As with everything, here in the markets, everything revolves around the USA. Look at this here. Bitcoin only performs when the US M2 money supply performs. The global M2 money supply is not as important as the US M2 money supply, just like China, Europe, or Japan or something like that. Also not as important. It all depends on the USA. And at the last FOMC meeting, we clearly noticed that we are slowly seeing a more relaxed monetary policy. And that is therefore the most important thing. Because in the last 2-3 years, we have had a tight monetary policy all the time. Money was gradually withdrawn from the markets here. Now, significantly less money is being withdrawn here. And we should see the trend reversal this year so that we get fresh capital into the markets here. And that would be extremely important. And it would also give us the shift here so that we see a proper bull run with an expansion of money. We need the expansion of money every time for Bitcoin to perform. And if we compare the cycles with each other now, we simply see that this cycle resembles the 2017 cycle enormously. And you can see that in many respects. If you look at this chart, then we are indeed facing this big explosion. If we look at this down here, we can overlay our current cycle with the 2017 cycle, and it runs very, very similarly. And it was also the case there that we built up step by step, and at the end of the year we had this massive explosion, and it looks like, according to time and data, it will be the same this time. Because even if we look at the dollar index is also extremely important. We need a weak dollar for our markets to perform here. And if we look at this, we also see in 2017, Trump was already president. And it was exactly the same with the dollar. Take a look at it. The dollar was made strong in the short term, but weakened in the long term. There was also a delay in the bull run. The 2017 bull run was under Trump's opposition. And this cycle is again under Trump's opposition. That means it looks identical, that we are running like 2017, because we even have the same president. And because they are handling it exactly like 2017 with the dollar, with the expansion of money, etc. Here, with the Democrats, it was different. They handle the dollar's strength a bit differently. That's why everything indicates to me that we will see the biggest breakout towards the end of the year, probably August, November, October, somewhere around there, and then we will see our bull market top. In terms of time and data, it would match up completely. And in the event of a recession, we would definitely see significant short-term pain. For example, we had a recession here in 2020. And if we look at Bitcoin, take a look. It fell from $10,000 to $3,900. Over 60% correction within a few weeks. That was a huge pain for Bitcoin. But let's zoom out and see what happened afterwards. After this corona crash, we still had a huge, massive bull run. Because even if we see a recession, we will have to endure significant short-term pain. But in the long term, it won't be that bad. Because we will naturally get a lot of fresh money for the markets again, so no matter how you look at it. I'm speculating anyway that we won't see a recession and that this is all part of Trump's plan. But I'm also speculating that we'll see an altcoin rally because, just look at it. The M2 money supply is slowly getting to where we want it to be. There is still a lot of uncertainty at the moment, but that is deliberately provoked like this. The majority of investors are supposed to be wrong again, but in terms of time and data, according to so many indicators, it should start at the end of this year because further interest rate cuts will take place. We are seeing a monetary expansion in the USA and so on. It doesn't look so bad at all. I am still extremely optimistic for this year, and I hope you are too. Because just look at it. We were already at a 44% probability with this recession indicator. But then Trump announces that the tariffs are now flexible after all. And boom, we go back down to 35%. You can see how massively manipulated it is nowadays. It has simply been deliberately made this way, and one just has to understand it. We can't fight against it anyway. But we can understand it and act accordingly. We can be smarter than the rest of the investors. And with that, one could currently buy some projects cheaply because we are still in fear. These are now good opportunities to accumulate projects at a low cost. While the masses are afraid, we can buy cheaply here. Because, the numbers, data, and facts are available to us. Based on the macro data over time and data, it should become really interesting this year in the crypto market. Because slowly the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. And I really find it difficult not to remain optimistic for this year. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, leave a like and a comment. And then I would say, see you next time, friends. Bye.